Alright guys, so now that Ash is stepping down as protagonist along with not only a presumably finalized roster but also world champion status, I came across some ideas. You know how I made a what if about Ash being the Kanto champion? Well, this time we'll be running it back for Gen 2. And quick disclaimer that in each of these thumbnails, at least one of these Pokemon will be fake. But to speed Blitz's intro, let's get straight to the rules. Although, if you want an elaboration, you should go check out the first one where I go in depth about that. But now that we got that out the way, let's not stall any longer and let's get started.
Pokemon, get to the Z!
First off, let's do something a little bit different than last time. In the Kanto one, I saved the starter for the last pick. This time, we're gonna do the starter first. Now, I could just be extra and try to go for the unexpected, but no, I'm gonna go with the obvious answer. At least, I think it is. The first pick will be going to Meganium. Now, if I were to guess, I assume many expected Typhlosion. Now, what made this decision clear cut to me is that Bayleaf was the indefinite ace of the Johto team. And now, I'm also assuming that Quilava and a certain other someone probably came to mind regarding that too, right? Well, let me explain. To elaborate, let's compare and contrast their performances during the Johto saga, since that's the fairest way. But I will be taking post-Johto performances into consideration. To start with Quilava, he was quite the efficient battler as a Cyndaquil. However, starting from the price battle and onwards, he kinda takes a massive nosedive, losing to nearly every notable trainer, and even when it involved in Diamond and Pearl, the best it could do was end off with a tie. Between you and me, Quilava wasn't a very convincing option. Bayleaf might be a hard case too initially because she was definitely mediocre as a Chikorita, but as a Bayleaf, she was way better. Despite being used very scarcely, Bayleaf was quite the consistent fighter, not only capable of winning as a whole gym, but also defeating rival Pokemon. The only time it really lost as a Bayleaf is when it fought ace Pokemon on Charizard's caliber. So I think Bayleaf is honestly the safest choice to be the ace. Then there's the character. To make it quick and simple, Bayleaf is easily the most colorful in the main canon of Johto. Being the lovey-dovey type of ace might be similar, but also unique compared to other aces. And as to this alternate universe scenario, I wanted to evolve Bayleaf into Meganium cause why not? Not only should it get stronger, but its fighting style should relatively stay the same. So overall, with Bayleaf's consistent capability in Johto, but also its clingy nature, I think Meganium will suffice as an interesting ace for this team. And sorry for dragging this bit so long, I promise the rest will be shorter. And the next guy we'll be going on about is the second pick. That second pick being Heracross. Now, this who I was initially hinting at alongside Quilava regarding who would be the Johto ace. And now getting straight to its fighting capability, back in the Johto saga, Heracross was about used twice. Once in the beginning and like once in the end or something. Then in DP, it was like the final star against Nando, but that was most likely because of the sake of a bug battle. Then it was a great pick against Dorpai's Darkrai, but that was also most likely because of the moveset and the type talking right there. To me, I see Heracross as a situational fighter. Similar to Snorlax, it's a powerhouse indeed, but it will never be the number one on the team. So I will place Heracross as the second fiddle. But this isn't about Meganium anymore. This is about Heracross now. So let's put him in a positive light. Let's talk about why he earned this spot. Well, despite being sent to the void for most of Johto, he was pretty much performing well. This also applies to Diamond and Pearl, so I think his powerful nature makes it too important to forget about. And as for its personality, well, Heracross is somewhat of a bumbling idiot. All it really takes is the simplest distraction for it to instantly lose focus. So I think its simpleton personality makes it somewhat unique to the team, maybe. And lastly, in this alternate universe, instead of being stuck in a lab for most of the Johto journey, it actually stays around the whole time. So with its reliable power and charming airheadedness, Heracross serves as the second place ace of the team. But now that we got the top two, let's get to the rest, the Joe Schmoes. Luckily, I won't talk about the rest in such a competitive manner. I just wanted to clear my statement about Bayleaf turned Meganium, seeing that she's probably the most underrated and underestimated on the team. I promise that we're out of that ballpark. So for the third member, we're getting straight towards Noctowl. Now, honestly, I was originally planning to replace it with Skirmy, because if you didn't know, I'm not really obligated to include everyone Ash owned in these teams, but let me explain. You see, on paper, Noctowl kind of sucks. In terms of battle, it only did amazing about once, and then it was either mid or bad for the rest of the battles. For its personality, it seems as boring as you can get. So here, I thought I ought to make a new Johto bird with a cooler design and a preferably better character. But good news, here's the turnaround argument. I prefer to think of Noctowl as underrated with untapped potential. I'd also like to believe that its psychic-based variety makes it rather unique. And side note, did anyone else used to think Noctowl was a psychic type? Anyways, I feel that Noctowl could be more impressive if given the chance. For its personality, I really think its stoic character is befitting for someone that looks a little, intimidating. All in all, I feel like Noctowl could be an interesting and underrated member of this team. But since we're done with the third guy, let's head down to the fourth. That fourth member being Donphan. Now, this was a rather comfortable pick for me. We all know that this guy was a fanpy during the Johto saga, so was never really a Donphan at that moment, but in this alternate reality, Broach is a fall of him, cause why not? Luckily, this will be way more low-key than the rest, so when it came to battling, it was rather okay. It jobbed, but also did a few picks as well. This also applies to later series as well, where it was half and half. As for its personality, it was pretty much a cute baby elephant back in the days. Although that's more of a description than a character trait, but who cares. Even after it evolves, I still find it to be the little bro in my opinion. But honestly, that's the story about Donphan. I know he may not be as interesting as the first three, in my opinion at least, but I still believe he's worthy of this spot, because he's pretty much an underrated mod if I do say so myself. But now that we got that out the way, let's get to the fifth guy. And trust me when I say the last two will be very interesting, seeing as all we got now left are improvised slots. The first improvised and fifth overall slot will go to Smeargle. See, the origin behind this is that I was struggling to find some new members. So what else to do but to find some inspiration from this generation's game protagonist. The thing is, Ethan has no official Pokemon, but luckily, after some snooping, I took a look into some artwork, and that's where my inspiration sparked. You know how Ash always has some quirky Pokemon, right? And I can't be the only one that thinks Smeargle looks a little quirky himself. So I thought, why not go ahead and let this guy slide in? Anyways, from here on out, we're just gonna make things up since there's no reference we can summarize over. So for its character, let's just make it a quirky artistic type. It'll often be lost in its own head, seeing the world as its canvas, or in its recorded case, territory. And because of this alienated point of view, it'll often paint on people as a sort of comedic gag. But for its battling skill, let's just make it one of those 50-50 fighters. With Sketch, Smeargle can make for an unpredictable battler, although whatever moves it will have will just depend on whoever Ash fights alongside his Johto journey. Anyways, I think this move could fit very well with Ash with a fight fire with fire type of style. And back to what I said about being 50-50, it just boils down to the fact its copycat capabilities could work some of the time and then other times not. But yeah, with all of these, I think Smeargle can make for a worthy addition. But the next and final pick will be worthy in my opinion as well. And as for the final pick, I decided to choose none other than Ampharos. Now, I have a feeling that many people may have expected a Tyranitar, based off the infamous Larvitar in the original series. Although, if no one then, that this was a really bad hunch. But let me explain. To boil it down quickly, I just thought Ampharos fit the character more. To me, I never really cared about Larvitar, and I'd also add in when looking at the lineup, it really didn't match the synergy well from a visual standpoint at least. With Ampharos, I really felt like it matched the team and felt more complete. Hopefully you understand, but now we're going to explain the strength and personality of Ampharos in its alternate universe. Well, to get straight to its battling skill, I thought to make it above average on the team. Not as good as Meganium or Heracross, but definitely better than the last three we talked about. Its moveset can just consist of special attacks, and then I'd also want to have Dragon Tail added too, because I thought it was fitting. And actually, it might be because of this moveset resembling Pikachu's maybe that I thought I was so intrigued about Ampharos in the first place. But for its personality, I'd also want to rip a page off another Pokemon's book. That being similar, but also contrasted with Meganium. One could be aggressively passionate, and the other can just be a rather chill, calm, and collective type of passionate. I don't really know what I'm saying here, I'm just kind of spitballing. But with everything said, I think Ampharos is a pretty cool idea. And now, the gang's all here. To summarize everything, we have the lovey-dovey ace Meganium, the absent-minded powerhouse Heracross, the mysteriously stoic Noctowl, the little bro Donphan, the quirky artist Smeargle, and the wholesome sheep Ampharos. Now, I'm not too sure if this was the sequel that surpassed the original, but I hope this was enjoyable nonetheless. Plus, there may be some future teams that I'd want to make, but a full-on series isn't guaranteed. I'm going as far as my passion takes me pretty much. Like last time, I don't know how good this is from a game standpoint. This is based on what I thought would be cool from a synergy standpoint. I'm still trying to figure out how to make these the best way I can. So I'm sorry if the quality of these just deteriorate over time. But honestly, that's pretty much all I got for now. Yep.